What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Malcolm Tibbs. I spent 25 years getting inconsistent results in my love life, and now not only do I have a fulfilling relationship, I also have the ability to go out, snap my fingers, and have half a dozen dates lined up within a week. Now, getting from having nothing going for you, like zero motion, to the point where it's easy to have 3 or 4 dates every week consecutively is not that difficult. It is going to take some time, but the actual steps you have to take are pretty simple. The biggest issue that you're facing is just going to be yourself, all right? There are self-limiting beliefs that every single person has about what is possible, what they are capable of, what is realistic, and those beliefs are what is holding you back. The good news is those beliefs can be changed, right? They were changed at one point to the position that they're at right now, and they can also be changed into a different position, okay? So the idea that because you're black, you can't get a girlfriend, or because you don't have a lot of money, you work a job in trades, you can't get a girlfriend, or even the idea that, like you're bald or you look ugly, so that's the reason why you can't get a girlfriend. Those are all examples of self-limiting beliefs. And the problem isn't that we know these things aren't 100% true. The problem is that we act as if they are 100% true, okay? When you act as if you are going to fail, you guarantee your failure, and you prevent yourself from taking the obvious steps that are necessary in order to get a girlfriend, okay? Now, the reason why I harp on relationships so much, in my opinion, when it comes to self-improvement, there's 3 main pillars, okay? You have your finances, which is just really going to boil down to do more work and develop more skills. You have your health, right? And that's going to include how you look, how you groom, and it's also going to include how you feel, okay? And then lastly, your relationships, all right? For me, I did very well financially, at least as well as I could hope for my age and my position, right? I did very well in health, right? The biggest area for me where I was going to get the most bang for my buck is relationships. And so I personally feel as if relationships are the most valuable pillar of self-improvement, just because that's how my kind of situation played out for myself, right? Spent a lot of time when I was in the Air Force focusing on getting bigger and hitting the gym, and I got all these muscles and I was getting a pretty nice check, right? And I was able to deck out my house with a lot of cool little gadgets and stuff. But I always felt like something was missing. I was never satisfied. I always felt like I was inadequate or that I wasn't good enough. And once I got a girlfriend, and really once I started to develop my dating skills, all of those ideas went away. And I had a new kind of confidence that I wasn't getting by, putting on more muscles, right? So that's why I like to harp on relationships. I personally feel like they are the most important pillar. And if you didn't have your health and if you didn't have your money, you would still care about your loved ones. Like on your deathbed when time is running short, you are going to want to be surrounded by the people who you love. So I feel like relationships really are what a lot of things boil down to in this life. But with all that being said, the thing that is preventing you from developing these relationships, meeting these new people, never having to eat lunch by yourself again, right? It is just self-limiting beliefs. And the way that you get rid of these self-limiting beliefs is to go out, like outside the house, go to an area and challenge them, all right? And that's going to involve you being very uncomfortable. It's going to invoke a lot of anxiety. And in fact, you'll start to realize as you get closer to these things which you think are impossible, that your self-limiting beliefs tell you you shouldn't do or that you're not allowed to do, right? They are going to get louder, and you're going to realize that I have these beliefs to keep me from experiencing anxiety, right? A lot of the ideas that you have, they are a form of cope, all right? They keep you safe. And that's where they came from. That's the purpose that they serve. But they also keep you from experiencing more life. A lot of the good stuff is behind those beliefs. All right. If we want to make this financial, maybe that will be a better example for you, right? The idea that you can't make, let's say, X amount of money per month, right? That idea isn't necessarily true. We can look at any example of any person who makes more money than that, and we can see that it is possible, right? Maybe you need to reorientate your approach. Maybe you need to develop some skills, or maybe do a little bit of networking. But the idea that it's impossible isn't true. It's just that to do so would involve you having to step so far out of your comfort zone and having to work so many extra hours in a lot of different pursuits that you don't know are going to pay off in order for you to figure out something that's going to make you hit that income goal, okay? It's the same thing with dating. It's the same thing with finding a girlfriend, right? There is just this, it's almost like this lake or an ocean that you have to cross. You don't know how deep it is, but you know that there on the other side, there is land, right? The fear is that once you step into the water, you might drown. But what you're going to realize is that it's like a mile wide, but it's like an inch deep, okay? It's not that difficult, but it is going to take you a little bit of time to cross that ocean, all right? With all that being said, if you want to be able to land your first date in the next 30 days, click the link in the description below. It's going to take you to an online community filled with a bunch of single men. They're swapping notes, they're sharing stories, right? And inside is going to be a 30-day challenge. Everything is completely free. If that sounds like something that's interesting to you, click the link in the description below, all right? But I want you guys to understand the only thing that is holding you back are ideas in your head, all right? I used to be scrawny. I got cheated on when I was in the military, right? I had every reason to feel as if I could not do it. Why I would not be a suitable man for a woman, right? I even started to question like how masculine was I? And there's a period in my life where I was watching all these like alpha male YouTubers trying to improve how masculine I was, right? I'm here to tell you, there's no such thing as like being like this macho alpha male, right? Really what it boils down to is like accepting the fact that you are male, you are masculine, you already have what it takes, just getting out of your own way, getting rid of these self-limiting beliefs that tell you that you need to go look max, or that tell you that you need to make more money, right? A beautiful example that I like to use that really makes a lot of things click for a lot of men that I help is look at the homeless man, okay? There are homeless men throughout every city in the country that you live in. I live in America. But if you go through any city, right, and you drive through it, you're going to see homeless people, and they are paired up with homeless women, right? These are men who have no income. These are men who, they look like shit. They smell bad, right? They don't have anywhere to stay. But yet, at the end of the night, they have companionship. They have somebody to spend their time with. They have somebody who is willing to like fulfill their needs for intimacy and touch and all of those things, right? Even the homeless man has access to them because he does not have the same self-limiting beliefs which keep him from engaging with women, from getting them interested, from getting them invested, right? He may have self-limiting beliefs about where he stands in society or about how he should be working a job or if he's even eligible to work a job. He may have a ton of SLBs in those areas, but when it comes to women and companionship, he has no SLBs there, right? So your issue isn't necessarily one of needing to improve further, at least not in the pillars of finances or in health, right? Your issue is just getting rid of these ideas that you have about yourself and about the world that you live in, right? And an overarching kind of concept that I'm really starting to hint at is called frame, right? Having a strong frame is something that allows you to have more influence over people around you. It's paramount. It's essential for good, healthy, fulfilling relationships, all right? The opposite is true when you have a weak frame. You kind of end up playing the role that people want you to play, right? And if you don't bring any value to the table, if you don't make it obvious what you can do for people, well, they're not going to find any use for you. And if you're not going to be the one who's calling the shots, who's assigning the roles to people, right? For example, if you want to get a girl interested in you, you may treat her as if she's already interested in you. And if you have a stronger frame than her, she's just going to fall in line. That's just kind of how people work. A beautiful example is when you go to like order fast food. There's like a context to that situation. There is a frame that both people bring to the situation. And when you pull into the drive-thru, it's expected that you are going to order food, right? It's like, it would be really strange if you started venting about your day and you started talking about your childhood trauma into the speaker, right? Like, that's just not how that situation goes, right? So learning how to build up this frame, which is a very long process, but it's very worthwhile, and it's entirely directly correlated to your relationships, right? Building up that strong frame is going to pay off, okay? And I'm just speaking from my own experience. Hopefully you guys got something good out of this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend. And again, if you want to be able to land your first date in the next 30 days, click on the link in the description below. I'm going to give you a 30-day challenge. It's completely free, and you can find other single men, swap notes, learn what's working, what's not working, and hopefully you'll improve. That's all I have for you guys. I'll see you in the next one.